All right, this is recording 839. The name of this specific podcast is Listen Next 839. It's a part of my podcast series, Speaking to the CIA. You can find me at speakingtothecia.com or ChristinaStacia918.com. So I'm going to continue. Okay, so the other night, Jean put this in my brain. Jean Jernigan Roberts, JeanJerniganRoberts, ISWHOICHARGE, I charge. NOTGENE, who she keeps changing the captions to. I'm talking about Jean Jernigan Roberts. Anyway, Jean, who pretends to be related to me, she is highly obsessed with me. She has stalked me and my family all of my life. She is my dad's ex-girlfriend. She is very obsessed with me. And she keeps claiming that she is me. She keeps claiming that she can speak for me. She will not leave me and my family alone. Just like she won't leave anyone alone. She is desperate to get away with committing crimes. So another stunt she tried to pull in my brain is she put in my brain, she was advertising to people, and she put it was like two thin books, but it was or else it was two pieces of masking tape. It was two long rectangular shapes, but the spine of the book, but like two rectangular shapes, and then on it was like something like that, and then on it she put major Manson Network Giant Friends and Family Board. That is Jean Jernigan Roberts. That is not to be gone to. That is to be turned in. Jean Jernigan Roberts keeps claiming that she is a part of my family and that she also is a victim when she is the perp. That is to be turned into the authorities. Anyway, also, moving forward, okay, someone told me in my brain on my way home from work the other day, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I know how obsessed Jean is with people who served in the military who earned Purple Hearts. She loves to manipulate and con and hurt and deceive military, especially Purple Heart recipients. Someone told me in my brain that somebody awarded Jean Jernigan Roberts, who committed stolen valor in the Navy, who was the leader of Charles Manson, they awarded her 8 Purple Hearts. And people were outraged. There's no way you can look at that, awarding her 8 Purple Hearts, and not be outraged. Even if you're under the guise of the lies that Jean Jernigan Roberts spreads, having herself worshipped into all glorification and back. How dare she? Anyway, also I wanted to let you know, Oklahoma City brought up to me again. They told me a while back, probably a couple of months ago, they know everything that's going on. They have my podcast. They know exactly everything that's going on. They know that Jean Jernigan Roberts has hijacked Tulsa. They know she's trying to overthrow the government. They know all the crimes that Jean Jernigan Roberts and her Manson occult have committed. Manson occult / KKK. They know all the crimes that she has committed. And they know that she and her Manson occult did the Oklahoma City bombing. And they are furious and they are angry with her. And they are angry with Tolsons who keep protecting Jean Jernigan Roberts and not downtown everywhere demanding that this occult and this little guy she's got running, trampling all over everyone, stifling everyone because she wants to get away with running child abuse rings and committing terrorism. They're upset with Tulsa, is what they told me. Also, moving forward, I already decoded this. But again, I want to bring it up because it's important. If you haven't seen the movie Fallen Down, it's important. She based my life on this movie. This is one of my favorite movies. It stars Michael Douglas. Note his initials. Seal Code Douglas. You know how obsessed she is with people named Michael. It's one of her favorite names of people to stalk. And you can tell instantly it goes to the World Trade Center attack. The way the movie is rearranged in context because it's just a regular movie, but Jean ice stabs it and rearranges the context of it, trying to tell lies within it, trying to protect herself. The movie is amazing. The movie, when I lived in Slidell, I remembered this movie, and I'm like, and I remembered, and I was decoding this. You're going to see my previous podcasts on Fallen Down. You're going to have to see all of that. But anyway, I was just like, oh my gosh. I was bawling in tears. And I just wanted to point that out about this movie. Also, something else that she did. Remember when I told you about the doll, the baby doll that I had when I was little, and I put it on the side of the road? When I lived in Globe, I was in elementary school, and I was on my way to one of my little friends' house who lived down the street from me. It's where I took my little sister to my friend's house where my little sister got lost. Okay, so down that street, East and Cottonwood, I guess I was on E, that would be Cottonwood. So anyway, my mom bought me a baby doll, and Jean iced me in my brain when I was really little. I was in grade school. She iced me in my brain to put this baby doll on the side of the road. And then this is what I said to myself, but this was her saying it through me, trying to control me. I wonder if I put this baby doll on the side of the road, if someone will take it, or will it be here the next morning? Like a little science experiment. And she literally controlled me to do that. And then I went and put the baby doll down, and then I went home. And the next day I went out to go see if my baby doll was still there, and it was gone. And then it was months later, I was walking down the same street, and I found a wallet full of money in the same place. And I went back and took the wallet to my mom, and I told my mom, I found a wallet, there's money in it. And then my mom dealt with it however she dealt with it, probably trying to find the owner of the wallet. And then I decoded that, and I realized back in time, she was telling me, but she was pretending to be Native American doing it. Everything is all everybody else's fault. She's running her little racket. She was telling me that I was being trafficked. but she was the one trafficking me, and she thought she would racket it. She iced me like that when I was little. She did all kinds of stuff like that to me. All kinds of really weird stuff. You're going to see my whole podcast. You're going to see all my geek code. Another thing she did along the same time frame, in the same time period, is out also came the doll Betsy Wetsy. Oh, she did that too. Betsy Wetsy, and then Let's See. Let's see if this happens. She did that too. So, let me continue on here. So, moving forward. Okay, so Lucy and Schroeder from Peanuts, Charlie Brown. Okay, so I'm going to continue on decoding this. Okay, I love Charlie Brown. She uses Charlie Brown as a theme or as a mascot for her Manson occult. Okay, so anyway, so Schroeder goes to Schrodinger's cat, okay, and it goes to Santa Ana Traps. Continue. See all decode Santa Ana Traps. Okay, so more that I want to point out to this is more decode here, is they connect together to my first grade teacher, Mrs. Parker. And Mrs. Parker was the one who called my mom trying to ask her if she wanted to sell her house on East and Cottonwood, my childhood home. Okay, so SAT is in that. And then if you put in the AN, you see what Gene Roberts did there. And then that would also go to Saturn. And then I put in my notes here, I bet this planet is named from this, again, first grade, Mrs. Parker, Elton John glasses, bling, Saturday in the park. So she's using Saturday, but she herself uses, she uses Satan, but she also uses Saturday. Saturday in the park, also Philadelphia. I don't know what I'm saying here. I bet this planet is named from this. But however the planet is named probably links into this cipher that I just told you about previously. The naming of the planet connects to this somehow. So, and then also saturate, water, AIW. There's also something else here that goes to her pre-planning to do the World Trade Center attack. Also the wasted part of her ciphers. Also PLN is in this. Polanski, Roman Polanski. Then fast forward. Let me do this. Okay, so let me rewind back to the 60s. Since we're on Roman Polanski, this is in this too. I see Roman Polanski's name everywhere. She has it everywhere. Okay, so Roman baths. Okay, see all code on the baths and the showers. That's one of Gene Roberts, Charles Manson themes. You have to see all of my podcasts on baths and showers. Okay, and then also showers, Zodiac Killers. Zodiac Killers is Charles Manson. What I was told is that Zodiac Killers are Charles Manson, but she contracted in killers, calling them Zodiac Killers. That does not mean necessarily that they are Charles Manson, because they were contracted in. So however she's doing all of these ciphers, they get contracted in, is what I was told. Because I see Zodiac and everything. A lot of crimes I decode, there's Zodiac symbols, there's all kinds of stuff. So you have her Manson occult, and then you have Zodiac Killers. Those would be her contracted killers. So it's not, they're all the same, is what I was told. So anyway, so Roman Polanski, Roman Bass, then Lion Baths, Lion Baths, and then Lying Baths. She did that too. Okay, and then you got to see the Charles Manson murders. I just decoded more on the Charles Manson murders as it has to do with the bathrooms. Okay, so you're going to see all code on that. Also, moving forward in this same theme that she uses, this is something she did. When I was this was in 2016. No, it was in 2016. It was in 2017. I'd already split up with Ben. I was living here in Tulsa, and I kept running back and forth to Dallas. And my kids were about ready to kill me over it, but they just could not get me to just quit all communication with him. It was insane. I was going through total, I was being messed with. Ben and Mary, Ben was being messed with. Mary, it seemed like she was being messed with, but then I know Mary wasn't being up, and I had a feeling that Mary and Russell knew each other. So there's all kinds of weird dynamic going on, and I knew that they were connected to Gene Roberts, and I kept trying to communicate to Ben, we're being stalked. But I didn't know it was Gene Roberts and her Manson occult yet. I didn't know how all this interweaving worked, okay? So, and he couldn't talk. He would try to talk to me, but he couldn't talk. He would want to say what was going on, but he couldn't say. So, anyway, one time I walked into Ben and Mary's house. Mary had a house in North Dallas, not North Dallas, and all I remember was off of Arapahoe. Little Elm is where she lived. Okay, she had a house there, and one time I went over there. They asked me to borrow the car, and I was like, you can borrow the car, but I'm going with you. I was trying to keep track of my car because they wanted to continually take my car. And so, and I would never say no to Ben. I was like, anything Ben said or did, and Mary knew that. And then Ben would kind of get mad at me for it. And then sometimes he wouldn't. Because sometimes he would be like, you know what I'm saying? He would want to see me, and he would want to use the car. And then sometimes he would be like, he didn't want me doing this. He was trying to signal to me that stuff was weird. There's weird stuff going on. So it was a very weird dynamic, crazy dynamic. And it was the beginning of me finding out that I'm being stalked, okay? And my kids were they were ready to kill me, okay? So anyway, so one time I went over there, and at that time Russell was living with me in Tulsa. So one time I went over there in Dallas, not in Dallas, but North Dallas, in Little Elm, at her house, and I saw on her counter, I had just got done doing my bills at home. I was trying to get myself out of debt, and I was trying to add up on my debt, and I was going to follow that snowball technique that a famous debt guy does on TV, and I was like, I was going to do this to take myself out of debt. And so I figured out what all my debt was, and I had a debt book and everything, and I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get myself out of debt. I'm going to get myself back to zero. And so that's what I was working on, and then all of a sudden everything went total chaos. Total chaos. So anyway, on her counter was a list of my personal bills and my debt. They stole my debt. And I swear to God, it looked like it was in Russell's handwriting. Why is it sitting on Mary's counter? And then I was like, that's mine. And I'm like, I'm not touching it. Because if she's doing something illegal, I'm not touching it. Because that's my debt, her knowing what my bills are. Like, I wasn't thinking clearly, like, I wasn't thinking anything about identity theft or anything like that. I was just thinking, my debt is my debt. What can she do? I'm not touching that. She's going to get in trouble. Her and Russell are up to something. She's going to get in trouble. And I'm like, I'm not touching it. And then somebody told me in my brain later on, that was yours. You should have taken it. You should not have left that there. You should have taken it. She's stalking you. They didn't say she's stalking you. They said they stole that. They were stealing your life, basically. And you should have taken that as evidence. But in my brain, I was like, I'm not touching that. She's doing it. And then, anyway, I left. And then I came back in. It was like hours later. And then it was gone. Like they knew that I saw that on the counter and then it was gone. But this is what I think, is that Ben left it on the counter for me to see what's going on. And then somebody saw it and then they moved it. And he probably made it look like an accident, but only Ben and Mary would know. So you see, it was like weird stuff like that that's going on. So anyway, one time I was over there and Ben was gone and I was talking to Mary and Mary was freaking out because she didn't know where Ben was. And she was like, I don't know where he's at. He keeps going to go see this girl. I don't know what's going on with this girl. I don't know what's going on. And I can barely stomach her. I can't stomach hardly any of this. I don't even know why I'm there. I'm like in bizarro world. I'm like still in love with my ex-husband. Now and this is his current girlfriend, Mary. And now he's off with this other girl. And I'm like, what am I doing? I was just crazy. Like, I was just crazy. Like, I just wanted to be able to like, try, like, Ben, would you get some? He's wild. He's crazy. He is a rebel machine, okay? Like, he is crazy. So all I wanted to do was like put my hands on his shoulders and go, listen, you've lost your mind. All this craziness that's going on doesn't need to be happening. Let's just get back together. We can work this out. Like, I thought I could like approach him like Sense and Sensibility, which was never going to happen. And he was signaling that to me. That's never going to happen. But I need you to know stuff is going on. But I wasn't picking up on what he was saying because I was kept like, what the heck? All the psychoticness. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, this is one of those like crazy things going on. So anyway, she's messaging him. And she's going through her messages, or she's trying to show me something in her Facebook Messenger and her messages. And then all of a sudden, something pops up in her Facebook Messenger on her phone. And I'm standing there with her, and it says, Wet Rapist Cam. And then it disappears. And then again, something pops up in my text messages. And it said, and then it disappeared, and it was something called Check. It was called Check Systems, is what it was, and then it disappeared. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Why are Facebook messages appearing and disappearing on your phone and my phone? And why are regular text messages appearing and disappearing on my phone? Like, what is going on? Anyway, I started, like, doing everything I could to figure out, trying to trace what's going on, because I was being hacked really, really, really bad. Like I told you, like, I was being hacked to hell and back. Okay, and so I tried, with as much computer knowledge as I had, to trace the hell out of all footsteps and footprints. So anyway, I even looked at, I saw, he put, or she put, and I don't know if it was on his phone or her phone. I think it was her phone. It wasn't his phone, it was her phone. and he put it on her phone. I don't know how it got what got where, but he was in a truck. He was in a white truck, and he had a dolly in the back of the truck. And I'm like, what is this? The picture went in, and then it disappeared, and the license plate showed up on it. Okay, because it was the back of the truck. And I'm like, what is he doing? It just showed up on her phone. I'm like, what is that? And then it disappeared, and she was like, I don't know what that is. I'm like, what is going on? So anyway, did it show up on my phone or her phone? I don't know, but I somehow remembered the license plate number, and I paid to research the license, like doing a license plate check, and I checked the license plate number, and the license plate came back to a brand new red truck. And then later on, when I moved to Slidell, after all this is well over and I'm going to get sober and clean, Jean herself is at my dad's, and she's leading the conversation, and she knows her and her Manson occult are icing me. She's like about to like try to like frame me and frame him and like do everybody in, because she's Mrs. Viking Lord, and she is to be worshipped. But anyway, so she's leading the conversation, and I don't yet know what's going on. I don't realize that Jean is bad. I just know that everything is crazy in my life. And she says that a red truck of hers husband's, whose name is Michael, was stolen. And I'm like, Ben, there's no way Ben would steal Michael's truck, her husband's truck. She's trying to frame people. And then I think she tried to claim that her old pickup truck was stolen. She put that in my brain that it was stolen, but it wasn't stolen. She's got a picture of it on her Facebook. And you see all my ciphers on that. I'm not even going down that road and what she has done, trying to sell her grandchildren, and then by stealing my life to do it, and then trying to like frame me. Like, she's pulling major stunts. So anyway, later on, present day, but in the past, I think it was when I was in, it wasn't when I was in Dallas. I think it was when I was in Oklahoma City. It was when I was in Oklahoma City. Her ex-husband, who is a Marine, came on, and he said, I talked to him about this red truck thing or whatever, and he told me all about what he could tell me, how evil Jean is and what she's been up to, and he can't stand her, Jean Jernigan Roberts. And I was like, oh my God, between puking and oh my God. Anyway, I was like, in the parts about the truck, I was like, she stole your truck. I think she's trying, and at this point I've evolved from what she's trying to allude to, because I know he wouldn't steal his truck. But anyway, I'm like, I think she's trying to say that the cartel, she must have like paid someone. Maybe she paid someone to steal your truck, and I think she's trying to like blame the cartel, but everything she does is fake. She runs insurance rackets too, stealing stuff and arranging break-ins, and then running rackets on the insurance. So she does all this stuff. So anyway, and she was doing a string of house robberies that she tried to blame me for, and this was happening by people attacking me around me, blaming me for themselves being robbed, because Jean was breaking into people's homes, and she was blaming me for it. And I don't have anything to do with any house break-ins. She was breaking into all kinds of people's houses. And I know she was doing that with her Manson occult, and she was trying to make it look like it was my fault. And she was doing her mail bombing ring, and she was doing all kinds of nasty shit. And she was trying to make it look like it was everybody else. She's trying to make it look like it was me that was doing it. And she was also trying to make it look like people in prison were doing it. And then as far as the truck goes, she was trying to make it look like the cartel did it, is what she was trying to do. But I know that she was the one doing it. Like, I knew she was shady, but I didn't know what the hell was going on yet. So anyway, he said to me, he said, I don't care about the truck. That's the smallest of my worries. It's not even a concern of mine. Like, he damn knows what Jean did. He was just like, don't worry yourself. Because I was like freaking out over everything. She did this, she did that, she did this, she did that. And he was like, don't worry yourself over her stealing my truck. Like, don't even let it concern you. Jean is screwed. She probably was like going to try to manipulate that and turn that around, pretending that she herself was having a conversation with her own ex-husband, pretending that it would be me and Ben. You see all this mirroring shit that Jean does, committing all this crime? So that's what Jean was up to there. So I'm going to end this recording and I'm going to do another one.